Okay, we're going to start our post-NASCAR Xfinity Series championship race press conference. We're now joined by Sam Mayer. And if you have a question for Sam, please raise your hand. We'll get you a mic. And we will start with John Newby over here.
John Newby, NBC Sports. That finish was crazy, but I mean, is there a sense of pride in the fact that you guys were able to go 4 wide and battle for the win cleanly in overtime without everything turning into a circus?
Yeah, I mean, that was a lot of fun. That was probably the most fun I've had in a race car in a long time, and obviously we came up a little bit short, but it wasn't a lack of effort. Our Accelerate guys put together an amazing piece today. They've done a great job this entire year. They gave me the opportunity to have a breakout year and even make it to this point. So, yeah, it's hectic out there. Like, obviously, that first restart before overtime, like, we were going to finish 4th. And the good Lord above gave us another shot at it. And we came up a little bit short. But it was a really cool opportunity to be able to put on a show like that, for one. And to even say that I had a shot at the championship is cool. So I'm going to come back next year, be even better, because, I mean, that was 100% right there for me. But I'm going to come back, and I'm going to raise my ceiling a little bit more and be better and do the thing.
And then just kind of following up on what you said, I mean, you picked a great night for a career best performance at Phoenix. So, I mean, you're like, what does that give you heading into next season, knowing that you rose to the moment?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about that on the walk over here, and it's like being in the Champ 4, it's like that extra level of just intensity. You have to rise to the occasion to do that, and it just makes you perform better. And I think it kind of opened my eyes and gave me another aha moment to where I can do this every week. And the car was really good, obviously. All 4 of the Champ cars were really fast. That's why we were all up front. I was like, man, I'm running 4th right now, and I'm still losing. So, I mean, it like being 4th, obviously, at a track like this with my history with it, I'm stoked because it's my best finish here so far. And it's still a little bit short, obviously, because all the cars are really good. So I got to get myself a little bit better. This was the best I've been, but I plan on being even better next year.
We'll go here to the back.
Steven Stump, fronters.com. Sam, when it comes down to those last couple of restarts, there's only so much track. There's so many cars in front. How much was it kind of trying to go where everyone wasn't? Were you kind of feeling boxed in depending on where everyone was? And had things gone a little bit differently in terms of where everyone was, do you think it would have been a different result?
Those restarts are obviously very hectic. It's probably the most hectic on the schedule other than like Pocono or something like that. And it feels like you're boxed in, very much so, but you almost kind of just bring that intensity level where I'm just taking this track position and you can get out of the way. Like being a Champ 4 car, you almost just have to bully everyone else and take what you can. And those last couple of restarts, I took as much as I could, and it's just like you can only take so much when you're in that spot. And we were in a tough spot, obviously. Second in line bottom was probably the worst spot to be in overall, and still to finish in the top 5 and get 3rd in the Champ 4. It feels good. But, yeah, the intensity is always high, and I always usually suck on restarts, and my restarts were actually positive today. So that's something that I look forward to going into next year, going into everything, and then obviously the Champ 4 and the championship race. Obviously, I hope I'm in it. But it gets me excited for that.
And then obviously in the second half of the year, you scored your first win. You scored 4 more, or you scored 3 more. You won your first oval. You made the championship 4. Obviously, it's not the result you guys wanted today, but can you kind of describe the second half of your season, kind of put it into words what you guys have been able to accomplish with the one team?
Yeah, I mean, we figured it out. Like, I figured it out, I guess. I mean, like, even the cars last year I drove with JRM, like, they were always really good. I just always was kind of like the weak link. And it not in a bad way, just to where I was still learning and developing. And these cars are hard to drive. And I finally figured it out, got that first win, and the floodgates kind of just opened. I always told myself that, like, that was going to happen. And to have it actually happen feels really good because I was almost like just gaslighting myself till it happened. But yeah, it feels good to finally get that going. And obviously to make the Champ 4 in general is huge. Like, that's a feat in itself. So I'm happy to be here. Like, I put a smile on my face all week because you only have one first time here in the Champ 4. So I'm looking forward to having another one and doing even better.
Thank you.
Go here to the front to Justin.
Justin Schuler kicking the tires. You were kind of alluding to it just now, but what have you learned? Like, what was different? What was different from last year's Sam Mayer to this year's Sam Mayer? I know this is a breakthrough year. You not only just won your first race, but multiple races, and really, when the moment came, you rose to the occasion that I'm a serious contender for this title. So, what was the one biggest thing that you saw change between yourself last year to yourself this year?
Yeah, I mean, just the competition level this year was so high, and you kind of just have to try to keep up the best you can. Throughout the whole year, I was just trying to figure it out, and I had good runs, but it was just inconsistent. And then finally, when we got to the summer, it was just kind of like something clicked, and I finally had speed each and every week. I was contending with these guys, and I was doing something right, and I didn't know what I was doing different, but I was, and I kind of just got used to that feeling. And obviously, getting those wins just takes pressure off your shoulders. Like, when's it gonna happen? When's it gonna happen? And finally happened. And like I said, the floodgates kind of just opened from there, and I finally found success in the series. So there's not really a big difference in me. It's just a difference in my performance level.
And how do you capitalize on that to go into next year to try to get a few spots better?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that was 100% for me. I worked my tail off and gave it all I had. I was keeping up with John Hunter at least a little bit there at the end, but yeah, I got to raise my ceiling a little bit next year to be even better because, like I said, the competition level is just so high. I just got to be better, and I plan on doing that.
Sam, congratulations on a great season. Appreciate your time, and good luck in the offseason.
Thank you.
We're now joined by John Hunter Nemechek. We'll continue with questions for him. Dominic, was your question for John Hunter? Jerry? We'll go with Jerry next.
Jerry Jordan, kickingthetires.net. Your finish is not indicative of how you ran today and how you raced in this, for the championship. You and Cole were the only guys that led laps. But what happened there? The final restart. I guess the car adjustments or whatever. But you raced your ass off.
Yeah, I I don't know. I got a really good jump off the bottom. Had everyone cleared, and I drove in one on the bottom just like I had all day, and I just wanted to go straight. So I'm not sure if we started having a right front go down at that point or what, but we ended up blowing a right front there at the end and kind of ruined our shot. So, man, it sucks that it comes down to one race and that this is the way that it has to end this year in 2023, but nothing to hang our head on. We were there all day. We led laps. We battled with Cole and Justin and Sam and raced each other super hard, and it sucks that it comes down to one race finish, but it is what it is. It's the cards that are dealt, and you got to play it. So we're close, but proud of this team, proud of this 20 group, proud of myself. We executed really well all year. Winning 7 races is no easy task, that's for sure. And as a driver, when you come down to the Xfinity Series or Cup Series, when you start a new season, the goal is to make it to Phoenix, to have a shot to race for a championship, and we did that. We put ourselves in contention. We put ourselves in the position to do it, and it just didn't work out.
We'll go to Zach up here in the front, then Alex, and then John.
Zach Sterniolo, NASCAR.com. One for each of you. John Hunter, I'll start with you. Just chasing Colt down before that last restart, before that last caution came out. What was going through your mind? Obviously, Hirschman's coaching you all the way through it. It was really you and him. It seemed like it was going to come down to either one of you two. What was going through your mind in those moments?
Not much. To be honest, I don't know. I was thinking about what I was doing and where he was beating me, where I was beating him, where I was able to make lap time, what my car was doing, what I felt like I needed to do with inputs to try and make it better, trying to get off the corner to get a run to him. There's a lot going on, passing lap cars, so wasn't really thinking about anything other than trying to go get him and focusing on our car and what I had to do to catch him.
And Justin, for you, a lot of adversity to overcome today. Spinning early, you charged your way through the field in that first stage. What can you say about the resiliency of yourself, Eddie, and Jim Pullman to keep you in the game and give you a shot to chase this championship?
Yeah, I mean, I about cleared myself and John Hunter out on the second lap. I was expecting, I don't know, I guess I thought it was going to stick. I think my lap was like his last restart. Like, I drove in there expecting it to stick, and it didn't quite, and I had two options, either run right in the side of him, which I think we did touch a little bit, but, like, I was going to clean us both out or spin it out. And I think the resiliency is I didn't get hit by anybody, so that makes it a plus. But, you know, just all night, we battled back through that. We were on an old set. We actually put that set we spun on back on it. And so then you kind of second-guess some adjustments. You know, I felt like for me, you know, we were a little too loose on the short run. I was bummed to see that last caution. I mean, we were gaining 3 to 5/10 a lap on both Cole and John Hunter. And it was going to, like, if you looked at the way it was going to shake out, I mean, we were literally going to be right on their bumper whenever we got to the end of the race. So, you know, I felt like we did all the right things. We just had way too good of a long-run car and not quite good enough on the short run. So, you know, I can't say enough about everybody at Junior Motorsports. I mean, 360-some days ago, we hit the reset button. I mean, we literally took people and changed roles and changed teams, and nobody that was on any car was on somebody else's car the year before. And, I mean, we called it a huge audible. And it takes a lot for a team to kind of reorganize and reshape and then come back and still, you know, as John Hunter said, put yourself in position at Phoenix. I mean, when you start out at Daytona, your only goal is to make the Final Four, right? And it's one race. We could have wrecked on lap 2 and been out, or we could go all the way down to the end. And probably going to second-guess my the amount of space that I gave Cole on that last restart, getting into 3. But on the other side of it, I mean, Cole's car was so good on the short run. It was so hard to hold him off. I mean, even when we got 3 wide down the back, I'm like, man, it's everything I've got. And so I was blown away that he even got to my left rear off of 2. So, you know, all in all, it was a good night for us. Disappointing, but I walked out of here last year really bummed about the way the night went because I felt like I didn't do a good job. Tonight, I walked out of here. I gave 100%. We did everything right. Just didn't work out for us.
Go to Alex.
Alex Etler, Charlotte Observer. John Hunter, you shared a brief conversation with Joe Gibbs on pit road after the race. What did he say to you, and just generally, what has Joe Gibbs Racing meant to you?
It's meant a lot. It's been a great opportunity for myself and my career, and I've had a lot of great partners along the way. Toyota TRD has been a huge help in making everything happen with Joe Gibbs Racing this year, and really the move back for me to go to the Truck Series and then to the Xfinity Series this year. But yeah, shared a couple words with Ty and Coach, and just talked about kind of the day and put ourselves in contention, and that's really all you can do. It sucks that it didn't work out, but yeah, it kind of is what it is, and just keep your head up and keep digging. And to second what Justin said, like, it's super easy to come out of here bummed, down on yourself, whatever. But for the year that we had, for the effort that we had tonight, like, you can't hang your head for that. You put yourself in position on the final restart, and it didn't work out. It is what it is. And through tough times, like, you grow as a person and you learn certain things. And I thought we ran one heck of a race tonight. We got behind at one point, got back to the lead, controlled the race there for a little bit, and Cole definitely had the best car tonight, in my opinion, on the shorter run and the longer run. We were pretty good through the middle part of the run, but we didn't go down without a fight, that's for sure.
Go to John and then Jeff.
John, Newbie, NBC Sports. Justin, I was hoping you could give me some more insight into, the final message you got before the overtime restart was, we're playing with house money. That particular message, I was just curious about it.
Yeah, I mean, last week we were sitting on that red flag, and I'm pretty good at math. Like, if I have one strength in school, it was math, and the math wasn't mathing. And I know that means I wasn't very good in English, right? But the math wasn't mathing, and I gave myself a healthy 5%. Felt like that was pretty generous last week. And when the race ended, lo and behold, we're the winner of the race, and we made it in the Final Four. Hindsight, I guess it wouldn't have mattered. Sheldon would have won the championship. But if I'd have just let Sheldon win last week, it would have knocked 0-0 out, with all the stuff. And then we wouldn't have had to race Cole. So maybe that was a better plan. But I couldn't calculate the math that good last week. But honestly, we went into this week and we said, okay, we shouldn't have made it, right? I mean, we should have based on the year we had. And John Hunter's right. You do all the right things throughout the course of the year to put yourself in best position you can for the playoffs. But we still didn't have the points at the, coming to the last restart at Martinsville, and it took what happened to make it in. And, as John Hunter said, I thought we did everything right on the restart. To get to Cole's outside, to be on the top, I felt like the bottom all night on the restarts, like if you did what John Hunter was able to do and get clear, it's a different story. But if there's somebody out there, it's so hard to kind of stop your momentum. And so my spotter said, hey, I think I like the 20 better on this restart. I think you should follow the 20. And at the last possible second, I sucked up behind a 0-0, and he's like, oh, well, all right then. And then that's when Jim Pullman told me, we're playing with house money. And at that point, I thought, as he kind of alluded to earlier, but we all four battled all night, but it was clean. Like, we pushed each other to limits that I don't know that I've seen be pushed to and be that clean. Side by side, battling each other, taking lines away, and really, like, that was fun. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it comes down to. And when you look at the result, I mean, you guys said it whenever I was walking in here, but his finish doesn't show the result of what the night was, but it was awesome. I mean, if I'm watching these guys race, and I'm, like, running my butt off trying to catch them, and I'm catching them, but at the same time, I'm like, if y'all want to run into each other, that's fine. But they didn't. They raced each other clean and hard. And lap traffic was difficult tonight, probably one of the more difficult races we've had, just getting around lap traffic. Seemed like every time you'd be running the top, they'd switch from the bottom to the top right in front of you, or, vice versa. But, the house money thing is just truly, at the end of the day, you got to go for broke, and we left everything on the table, and that's all there was.
Jeff, is there a question for John Hunter?
For both.
Okay, go.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wanted to follow up on the clean racing things. You watched last night's race, not exactly the best show of racing in a championship. You guys did the opposite, essentially, on the restart, when I'm sure somebody could have cleaned the whole championship 4 out, essentially, right? So is there a sense of pride that you were able to race that hard and come away with, a good finish for all? I mean, sorry for you, John Hunter, with your tire and stuff, but
Is what it is.
but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I think that out of the 4 guys that raced for the championship tonight, there's a lot of mutual respect between each other. Like, we have raced each other all season long. Sam came on there towards the end, but I feel like between Justin, Cole, and myself, we have raced each other as hard as we possibly can, as clean as we possibly can, all season long, and battled for wins. And the respect there is huge. One of the questions at the Q&A that got asked today was, what would you do on the last lap to win the championship? And I think Justin and everyone said it right. Like, it would not feel right wrecking someone on the last lap to win a championship. Right, so you want to race fair and square. You want to race hard. If you door each other or whatever it may be, it's still racing hard, right? But you're not going to go out. You're not going to wreck anyone. And it's just a respect factor, in my opinion. As you grow up and you gain experience and you run in different series, you tend to learn that really fast. Cole, myself, and Justin all have Cup experience. We've all been humbled from the Cup Series pretty quickly, I would say.
Very quick.
And as you move up in the ranks, there's just a different respect factor between race car drivers. One of it is experience, in my opinion, and some of it is getting a butt whooping after doing something stupid, or learning from doing something stupid through the years. And you live and you learn. You can't beat experience. It's super valuable.
I just follow that sentiment. I mean, to look at what we had this season as racing, obviously there's a lot of young, talented race car drivers that are coming up, and they're fast. And having speed is really important in this game, right? But I feel like I know I've heard lots of guys talking about it, but the respect level amongst the guys coming in is zero, right? Because they trying to prove a point, trying to earn a name. And even Sam and I have talked a lot about this, right? Sam pushed and took and banged and wrecked and did all these things, right? And when it finally clicked, it was like a light switch, right? And now all of a sudden, you put yourself in good position. You put yourself in the front. You don't get wiped out because you've earned that respect. You don't get put in 3, 4, 5 wide bad positions because you've earned that respect. And I think throughout the course of the season, I mean, he talked about it, but we have raced each other so hard, and really, you add the 21 into the mix. I mean, I don't know that there was a single race this year that the one of the 4, the 00, the 20, the 21, and myself weren't battling for a win at any given moment. Now, there's other drivers that were in there that were ultra fast, but I think when you come down to it, you come to here and you look at the talent level of the drivers, you look at the talent of the teams. I mean, our teams deserve us to lay it on the line without being stupid. I spun myself out to not run into the side of him, right? Knowing darn well that I probably gave me a set of tires down and was going to probably handicap our 9. But that was the respect level that it took to do that. Last night, I'm sorry, I was we were sitting at dinner and I wanted to turn it off because it didn't show what I know that our sport's capable of. Now, those moments, they're going to learn from them. Carson last night was highly critical of himself when he walked out of there. That's fine. The next opportunity is how do you fix it, right? And I think that, he got a really difficult life lesson, but something that I think a lot more people need to learn. And I think the more guys learn it, the better it is. But Dale Jarrett and I actually had this conversation 2 days ago, and I said, man, I just wish we would go back to steel bodies because it would solve all the problems, right? When you knock defenders, it would. You knock defenders off of it, your day's over. You smash the wall, your day's over. And I know that budget-wise and all these things, the composite body has been a game changer. And from a fan standpoint, your favorite driver doesn't wreck out of the race. But guess what? It causes what we saw last night. And I think that for me, I liked it a lot better when you had to protect your stuff and save your brakes and save your transmissions and all that fun stuff. So that's just my opinion.
John Hunter, I'm going to let you go. Appreciate the time, and congrats on a great season.
Thank you, guys.
Take a couple more for Justin before we get to our championship-winning team. We'll start here with Lee, or continue on with Lee.
Lee Spencer, CatchFence.com. You seem really lighthearted on the radio, and I wonder how much of that influences Jim Pullman, because you and Eddie have been together forever, right? And you're probably the most polite driver on the radio, but it just, you just didn't seem stressed, and if you were hiding it really well. And I'm wondering if, just having that lightheartedness makes it easier and more fun to do the job and, kind of alleviate some of the stress.
I'm going to be honest with you. I've had more fun this week through the whole process than I probably have in my entire career. The red flag last weekend, and then, I don't know anybody in this room that probably hasn't heard Eddie's radio call at the end of the race last week, right? But when you hear emotion like that, and a guy that I've listened to darn near my entire career, I don't think I've ever heard the sounds that came out of him, but B, that level of excitement. But I think it kind of showed me the red flag scenario, and then the way that race ended last week. As odd as it sounds, I've been doing this for my entire life. I'm 32 years into racing. I've never had more peace at what I'm doing than I have this last week. And I knew we came in here with the team that I wanted to come in here with. I knew we came in here with the pit crew that I wanted to come in here with. And I knew we came in here with a car that I wanted to come in here with. Did it work out for us? No. But the lack of stress was just merely me enjoying what I'm doing. You know, I don't know how many more opportunities I'm going to have to come make a Final Four. I'm 6 in without getting one, so I'm probably not odds-wise. I'm not doing real great. So don't bet on me next year, I guess. I don't know. But on the other side of it, to do it 6 times, to put ourselves in the Final Four 6 times, there's nothing like it. And to do it with Jason Burdett and the 7 team last year for the last number of years, and to switch over and to do it with Jim Pullman this year. I came in here last year so uptight. And I think that's why I left sad, was because I just didn't feel like I was fluid enough to give them my all. And tonight, I mean, I screwed up. I mean, I can't. The best one was I missed on a pit stop there. They missed the windshield tear off, and Jim coming back, he said, "Ha, that one's for you spinning out on us earlier, and you know that you deserve that one." I said, "Oh, all right, yeah, I'm good." But tonight was lighthearted. You know, Jim has been somebody that I've known for a long time, and is truly one of those people that he's a game changer of a person, and I'm super, super proud of him to come into a season, to come to a new team, to put the effort that he's put in, and to get us back to the Final Four. We got a lot of things to grow on, and I think you're going to see a different side of me. I don't know. Maybe being a dad, getting older, gray hair. I don't know what it is, but I'm enjoying my time as this sport gives me opportunities and having fun with it.
I'm going to wrap up here with Wolfgang.
Wolfgang from Germany, Rangeford Press Agency. John Hunter, and you mentioned several times the word respect level. You know your competitors better than I. I think there may be a lot of drivers who don't pay respect or don't have a respect level. How you can handle drivers who don't know the word or don't want to know the word respect level? Did you talk to them, try to teach them, or?
I think it's a 2-part answer to this. Number one, I think you have to learn it the hard way, unfortunately. You know, I got lucky when I came into this sport, you know, kind of going back to the age thing, but, you know, I ran a few races for Mike Mittler in the Truck Series. And those of you that were around and know Mike Mittler know his just everything of how he operated, right? You didn't drive his truck without earning respect. You didn't drive his truck if you didn't show respect. And there was a lot to be said for that. And I also came into the sport with, you know, Jack Sprague, Jimmy Spencer, Ron Hornaday, Todd Bodine. I mean, you know, guys that they had respect. And you had to earn their respect, right? And I think that was a big deal for me. The very first Xfinity Series race that I ran in 2008, 28 of the 62 people that entered were full-time Cup Series guys. You had to earn respect. You know, you can be fast and you can be crazy. They would bait you into putting yourself into a really bad position really quickly because they knew, and they had been there, and they had been young, and they had learned it the hard way. So I don't know that there's a way to have that conversation until they understand it. On the second side of it, though, you know, this format, the win and you're in, the win at all costs, it's great and it's exciting for the fans, but it's nerve-wracking for the drivers because you don't know who's going to throw a Hail Mary from the last row to win a race because you don't know what somebody's willing to do. And I think with Cole and John Hunter and myself, you know, John Hunter mentioned it, going to the Cup side, it's humbling, you know, but you learn really quickly that week in and week out, it makes life a lot easier if you just race with respect and you earn the respect of your competitors, and you will get better finishes. You will get farther down the road by doing that. And I think a lot of our young drivers, if you listen to a guy like Kevin Harvick, there's a reason why people are sad that he's walking away from the sport. It's not because of all the wins. It's not because of, the fact that he is the champion that he is. It's because of his personality and how he raced and how he was the closer, right? I remember if you got down to the last 50 laps, Kevin Harvick was in the picture. And it was because he earned respect all night and he put himself in those positions and he has done an amazing job as a race car driver. So for me, it's not about the teaching. It's not about the telling. It's about learning it on your own, and you will lose a lot more races by not showing respect than you'll ever win. And I think that you have to emulate somebody that you really respect, and if you do that, you'll find the right person.
Justin, appreciate all the time. Congratulations on a great season, and enjoy the off season.
Thank you. You guys too. Enjoy the holidays. And what do we got? Somebody's got a number. Is it like 90 days or 110 days? I won't be at Chili Bowl, unfortunately. 364.2 hours. I like it. Listen, I think it goes without saying, but what you guys do in the media for this sport, for our fans, is incredible, and I can't say thank you enough. I mean, I get to do this week in and week out. We all travel as carnies together, right? See a lot of faces every week, but it's truly one of the greatest sports ever, and I just can't say thank you enough for the effort you guys put in and the long hours and the time. And shoot, we'll be back. I don't know, couple weeks. It seems like we'll be back racing again. So we'll go restart.
Thanks, Justin. Okay, we'll now start with our championship winners, and we're now joined by Mark Rushbrook, Global Director of Ford Performance, the championship-winning manufacturer of Ford. If you have a question for Mark, please raise your hand. We'll get you a mic, and we'll start over here on the left to Jerry Jordan.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net. So far, it's been a pretty good weekend for Ford. Your thoughts on the past two nights?
No, it's been a fantastic weekend so far. It all comes down to this, right? A long season of racing across all three series, and have the championship weekend here. And we came in with one driver in each, and so far it's worked out pretty well. And great teams, great drivers, great racing, and so proud of what we have in terms of those teams, those drivers to come here and battle, and especially the racing tonight. And listening to Justin and John Hunter about how clean the racing was and the respect that was out there, and it was a joy to watch.
Anticipation for tomorrow night?
I'm nervous now that you asked me. But what Team Penske has done through these playoffs, and Ryan Blaney and the team, what they've done, especially at Miami, Homestead, and Martinsville, and the strength that they're carrying, was certainly a lot of optimism. But we know it's a long race. We know that there's three other great playoff drivers in there, and just looking forward to a good race.
Justin?
Justin Schuler, Kicking the Tires. Kind of hand in hand with that, but Stewart-Haas hasn't shown a lot of strength in the Cup Series, and then a completely different story here in the Xfinity side. So what have you seen Cole provide for the team, and I guess for the Stewart-Haas Racing fans that I guess maybe were disappointed about the Cup side, but now have something to cheer about, obviously?
Yeah, the great thing about Stewart-Haas is they are a team full of racers. Like, everybody in that shop wants to win. Every team goes through ups and downs for sure, and different phases in it. But what has been built at Stewart-Haas, when they came before, they were only a Cup team in 2017. And with a vision of Joe Custer and the leadership there to build the Xfinity program and to have the strength that they have there, and especially watching Riley run some really strong races through the latter part of the season, it's a strong program. They've got good people there, good racers there, and Cole's got great experience. And he dug pretty deep tonight. He got up on the wheel and got it done. So that's going to be a point of pride, I think, for the entire shop at Stewart-Haas, and help them through this process.
Go over here to Jonathan.
out the field, the racing experts. Just look at the top 5. I mean, you got Cole up there, you have Riley up there. Riley's been turning on lately, and of course now next season you got AM Racing coming over. I mean, just kind of assess, where the manufacturer's at, just with all this young talent coming up.
Yeah, it's a good time for the sport for sure, and like you said, the strength inside of Stewart-Haas with Riley winning in Vegas a few weeks ago and having several strong weeks since then. I think it's a good sign for that Stewart-Haas Xfinity program, and we're excited with what AM Racing is building, the program that they've run this year and the plans for next year, and seeing that all come together, and really their commitment to build that program, and proud to help be a technical partner with them to help them with that success.
I should clarify the partnership that Stewart-Haas has with them. How is that looking so far, and just what will that look like in 24?
Yeah, it's an efficient way to go racing, especially in Xfinity, is to have one strong team and have technical partners off of that. And again, the effort that's been put into the Stewart-Haas Xfinity program, their commitment to it, and also commitment to growing it through that kind of extension is it works really well.
We have time for one more with Mark. Anyone have any final questions for Mark Rushbrook? All right. Congratulations, Mark, and thanks for the time. Okay. We are now joined by the championship-winning crew chief of the 00 team, Jonathan Toney, and the championship-winning owner of Stewart-Hass Racing, Toney Stewart. We'll get right to questions for these two gentlemen. If you have one, please raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you, and we'll start over here with Zach.
Zach Sterniello, NASCAR.com. Toney, for you, how have you seen Cole Custer grow and develop since becoming a part of this team, and really from the start to where he is now celebrating as an Xfinity Series champion?
Well, first of all, I'm not sure if I've drank enough alcohol to be allowed in the media center this late. Apparently there's a new standard that has changed since I drove full-time, but I'll do the best I can with limited amount of alcohol in my system. But I think the restart at the end of the race was a very good indication and an example of how Cole's matured as a driver this year. To watch him go in turn one, and he was literally third going into one, and watch how he did what he had to do to get himself in a good position to get off of turn two was remarkable. And literally, I've watched the replay 4 times, and I still haven't totally 100% figured out exactly what he did behind the steering wheel, but it was super impressive. And, as dominant as they were to the end, and then have a caution come out at the end, and watching the truck race last night, you see how much chaos, and maybe these truck kids can learn from what happened tonight. I mean, you had all 4 guys up there up front and never laid a wheel on each other and raced for a championship, didn't just play bumper cars. So I'm really proud of Cole. I'm proud of the job he did. I felt like he drove an excellent race the entire time from start to finish. He was smooth. He was methodical. Him and JT worked through what changes needed to be made. And, when it came down to it on a 2-lap restart, the start of the restart didn't look very good, but what he did, getting himself in position off of turn 2 and then finishing off in 3 and 4 was really impressive. I'm super impressed with the job he did.
We'll go here to Jeff.
Toney, on the topic of respect, you watched the race last night and you're like, oh, well, I'm kind of like losing all faith in the next generation that's coming up, seeing how they race, and then you watch the restart tonight and how clean those 4 guys raced, and you're like, oh, well, maybe it's not that bad. Where do you see the evolution of this next generation coming up in terms of respect and understanding how to race and all that kind of thing?
Do I need to do anything? I desperately hope young kids that are racing go-karts, quarter midgets, bandoleros, you name it, any of these young kids, tonight's the example that you want to go off of, not last night. That was an S show last night. And the scary part, and I had conversations with people today about it, and what scares me is these kids watch that and think that that's what they're supposed to do. And you go to go-kart races and kids' parents are fighting because one kid's dumping another kid because that's what they see on TV. And tonight was a great example that that's not how you have to race. You can race clean, you can race door to door, you can race hard. but you can race each other with respect, and I think that's the Truck Series has a 0% amount of it. I mean, you watched that show last night, and it was whoever was going to have a straight car at the end of the race.
We'll go to Wolfgang.
Wolfgang Monzer from Germany, Rennsport Press Agency. Only one question for the crew chief, Mr. Toney. Despite that Xfinity and Cup are two different races, two different cars, different technology, nevertheless, is there anything what you can take from your Cup team to your advantage in the Xfinity team from the technical point of view?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, the cars have definitely evolved away from each other, from from the chassis and the suspension parts is definitely different. I'd say that, the biggest thing for us that we get from the Cup side is just experience. Have a lot of guys on the Cup side that, I still have conversations with and we work with on that. Richard Boswell, which was a big part of this Xfinity program, before he's been a great friend and a great colleague to work with. And, I've been over and sat in his office the last 2 weeks for him to calm me down and tell me it was going to be okay and, to be able to work through. But, at the end of the day, we're still going for the most races. We go down the corner and turn left and get back in the gas and go back the other way. So from that standpoint, it's all, very similar, but it's maybe a little bit different approach, because the technology has went a different direction. But, still the end result to get back around to the start-finish line the fastest. So, we still a lot of similarities there.
Over here.
Crystal Clay, RacingRefresh.com. This one's for Tony Stewart. I was watching you standing in the pit box while watching the TV while Cole was doing his burnout, and you almost didn't move for a matter of minutes while everybody was jumping over the wall. So I just want to know what was going through your mind then, and also how does it feel knowing that you could not only double down but triple down with championships next week as well?
The reason I wasn't moving, I was watching the replay trying to figure out how did he pull that off. And that's literally what I was doing at the pit box. I'm like, I have to understand. When you're a competitor, you've got to understand every aspect of it. And watching it live as it was happening, it was like, what just happened? And comes off of turn 4 and you see him get the lead back and you're like, well, that turned out great, but how did it happen? And that's what I was doing, was sitting there watching the replays. I'm too old to jump over walls at Mach 12 like these young kids. But to answer your question, I mean, I'm excited that we win a championship this weekend. We have an opportunity for our 2 drivers next weekend to win a championship, and that's a pretty exciting scenario to be in at this point of the season.
Go up here to John.
Hey, Tony, David Brandt from the Associated Press. I know obviously tonight's kind of Cole's night, but just wondered your thoughts. Kevin Harvick, obviously, his last race tomorrow. Just what do you think about his career just as he wraps things up?
I'll lose a little sleep tonight, to be honest. It has been the last couple weeks. It's kind of sad, to know that it's his last weekend and Eric's last weekend. Eric and I were teammates back in the Gibbs days, and obviously Kevin, I drove his Xfinity car for him before he came to SHR, and we've got a great friendship. So, it's sad to see both of these guys go. They've been great teammates. They've been great friends. But you understand all of us at some point have to change directions in our life, and I'm 1,000% supportive of their decisions. Kevin's one of those guys, he doesn't make a change without having an eye on what his next move is, and I know he's prepared for this. And Eric's the same way. I mean, Eric's just calm, cool, and collected all the time, but he's a great family man. He's a great husband, great father, and a great friend. So I'm excited for both of these guys. I'm excited for the next journey, but it is sad knowing that 24 hours from now, it's all going to be over. So, I'm appreciative of what Kevin's done for the company, what Eric's done for the company. They've both been great leaders these last 4 or 5 years, and very, very proud that I was able to have them as teammates. Well, I think what people don't realize is how good of a leader he really is. And I've said this in media sessions numerous times. I mean, Kevin Harvick's probably the most well-rounded driver out there, from the aspect that obviously he's a great race car driver, but he knows how to build championship-winning teams and putting the right people in place. He understands the business side of it. He understands the marketing side of it. I would challenge anybody to find somebody in the series as a driver that can do all those aspects as well as Kevin does.
We'll go to Deb Williams next.
Deb Williams, Auto Week. Jonathan, this is for you. You've been with the team since day one, even before Toney came in, and then you worked with Toney when he was driving. So to see the team grow like this and get this championship, and watch Cole also develop as a driver from when he was a kid and come up, what does all this mean to you and to have been there from day one?
I mean, it definitely not like tonight, is special, for those reasons, right? Because been there so long, I think this is my 20th year at Stewart-Haas and Haas CNC racing before that, and when I started in when people asked me what I wanted to do in racing, my goal was to start with a team and be able to be there long term to watch it grow. As a kid growing up, seeing Richard Childers Racing grow into a championship power team and Hendrick Motorsports, and to me that's what I love to build stuff. Whether it's race cars or race teams or whatever it might be. So that's where I get the enjoyment. And then tonight to see it come to full circle and you accomplish what your goals was. I mean, I don't think there's anything more rewarding to be able to do that. And on a personal side, with Cole, I've known him since he was 4 or 5 years old, and seen him with these little hilly shoes rolling down a ramp and at the racetrack, and so to see him grow into a young race car driver, now growing into a young man, married and all that stuff that you do when you get older, to see him mature has been, special. And then, of course, growing into a leader, as Toney mentioned about Kevin, we're seeing Cole Custer right now grow into that leader that a Kevin Harvick is. And that's neat to see, and it makes it rewarding. And then, like I say, to see him pull off the move he pulled here tonight over in 1 and 2 to win the championship, it's just, it's very, very special. I'm very proud and just really happy to be part of seeing him win this championship.
Go to Jordan Bianchi, and then we'll go upstairs to the press box for a question.
Jordan Bianchi with The Athletic. This question's for Toney. Amid a season where it's been a struggle on the Cup side, does winning a championship in the Xfinity kind of help, maybe provide like a silver lining of sorts in this kind of year?
Yeah, absolutely. It's it helps with momentum and keeps the morale up at the shop. I mean, it's been a tough couple years for the Cup program. But nights like tonight and finishing off the season on the Xfinity side with a championship and watching JT and Cole pull this off is something that the Cup shop will absolutely ride their coattails on that momentum. So that's a boost that the whole shop needs right now, no matter whether they're racing on Saturday or Sunday.
When it's a year like this and it's frustrating, do you ever question yourself, why I keep doing this, and maybe it's time to go do something else and
No, if it was easy, it's not any fun. I mean, you take competitive people that want to win and be competitive. If it's easy, it's not worth doing. You might do it once, you might do it twice, but if it's just that easy and the only time you stay is if you win, then everybody would get out of here after they've won a championship. It's these are the moments that define legacies and dynasties, and it's not always going to go right. I mean, this is a sport that the technology is constantly changing and evolving week after week, and sometimes you hit it, sometimes you don't. But the thing that we still have at SHR, and it's the Xfinity program, it's the Cup program, is we got a bunch of racers in there that don't have any quit in them. They fight, and we haven't found stuff for the Sunday program, but we found it for the Saturday program, and I'm proud of these guys for what they did.
Fair to say then, reading or listening to what you're saying, that there is no consideration of selling a charter or anything like that, and that you guys are committed
Why
to this.
Why are we talking about this on Saturday night when this guy just won a championship?
Okay.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about JT doing an awesome job and our driver doing an awesome job winning a championship tonight.
Well, to that point, I need to get JT back to the championship stage. We'll say we have time for one or two more if we have any questions for JT. We'll go to Kelly and Dustin and wrap there.
Kelly Crandall, Racer.com. You were talking about Cole and how long you've known him. These last 2 weeks, how impressed have you been by your driver? You mentioned the move he made to win this race. I even think back to last week. You guys are facing the other direction coming to the finish, and he's driving it backwards across the finish line to advance and do what he has to do. How impressed have you been with him the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, for sure. I've been impressed with him all year, but yeah, these last 2 weeks, I've worked with Toney, and you can see when that desire is there, and that championship is kind of burning in the belly, so to speak. And I've seen that in Cole the last 2 weeks, and really since the chase has begun. Even back to Homestead, we was right there and had a shot to win that race. And really, what impressed me about that, me and him both made mistakes at that race. With him, getting in the fence and then me stepping over the line and causing us to have to come back down pit road. But to see him bounce back from that at Martinsville and be able to regain his focus and kind of get us pointed in the direction we need to be to give him a car to compete there at Martinsville. And then you have the chaos that ensued at the end of that thing, and then him and Andy Houston having the presence of mind to say put it in reverse and back across the start finish line was pretty impressive. But then all weekend here this weekend, just laser focused all week, working together and trying to develop what we wanted to bring here to run as a setup, and then just going through practice yesterday, and then of course tonight. That was just that was the stuff that's going to be seen on TV. Of course, was the movie made tonight. But there's a lot of things that he done that led this team and helped us get us in the right direction to be ready to be in a position like that, to be able to pull off a move like that to win a championship.
I made a mistake where there's a question in the press box for JT. We'll take that, and then we'll let him go.
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. The question is actually for Toney. Toney, there would be a lot of drivers who probably would have difficulty in making an adjustment of kind of being sent from Cup back down to Xfinity. But it seemed like Cole sort of embraced it from the start. I just wondered what you thought, how he would handle it this season, and is tonight a culmination of sort of his determination and trying to fight his way back?
Yeah, it absolutely is. It was a calculated decision to moving back, and it was for him to gain confidence. And like JT said, his leadership is growing through this year, and as his confidence has grown, the leadership side's coming into play as well. So, I think it's a valid question and a valid point that, when a driver makes it to the big show and then, has to step back, one series, it's there's a lot of things that could go wrong, but there was a reason we made that decision, and it's character building, and it's like I told him tonight before we came into the media center. I said, this is why we did what we did, and this is what you're doing, the steps that you're making, and the progress you've made this year is exactly what we were hoping for. So he's doing the right things. He will end up in a Cup car at some point. I feel like in the future. He's doing the work. He's been a great leader at the shop with these guys, and I have the utmost confidence that he will be back in a Cup car at some point.
Okay, JT, I'm going to let you go back to the championship stage.
I have to take him.
What's that?
I have to take him.
Toney, we got a couple more for you.
Oh, shit.
My understanding. Congrats, JT. All right, we'll continue for a couple more with Toney. Greg, do you still have a question? We'll go to Greg here in the center.
Thank God.
First off, I want Greg Engel with Forbes. I wanted to say thanks for taking a couple hours a couple weeks ago on the NHRA thing. Talking about kind of his not selling charters, but coming into next season, 2 new drivers are going to be in your cars. Do you look at this as a kind of a reset to help build that momentum to go into the reset, especially if you do well next week with your other 2 teams?
I don't know if we look at it as a reset necessarily. It's not what we wanted as a company, obviously. I'd love to have Kevin and Eric back in the cars next year. But I'm excited about the direction our program's going. Obviously, having Josh Berry come into the car, I'm excited about Josh. I like Josh as a person. I like him as a race car driver, and he's one of these guys that his dad didn't fund his way to the top. This kid has earned his way to the top, and that's why we put him in that 4 car, because that's a hard seat to fill. I guess it's a kind of a mandatory reset. It's not that we're trying to reset. It's just we're kind of forced to a certain degree to reset, losing 2 drivers like that and 2 veteran drivers. So I'm really happy about the direction we're going. I feel like we're going to have 4 really good drivers next year that are going to work well together, I feel like, and are going to bring some new energy to the shop.
We'll go up to the front here to Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, kickingthetires.net. I was going to ask you, you're awfully subdued up there. And you know, what's this? I've seen some of your celebrations. What's this thing going to be like with, tonight with Cole and celebrating this championship?
I just told them I didn't care how much trouble they got in tonight. Just make sure we had a phone number for a responsible adult to get them out of jail if that's where they end up. So after watching last night, I didn't know what direction the media center was going to be in tonight. I didn't know if you guys were all doing tequila shots up here with each other or what, but no, I'm proud of those guys. I am not going to be a part of the late night festivities. I got to catch my breath a little bit. It's been a long season on many fronts, and I'm just proud to spend the time with those guys tonight up there and see their accomplishments, and really proud of the job they've done for our company. I know Gene being here was huge, and Gene to see that championship is something I'm really excited about. It's not about me. It's about Gene, it's about Cole, it's about Joe Custer, it's about those guys and what they've been working towards. So I'm just proud to be a part of it with them.
That was my follow-up. That was my follow-up on Gene, just being here and the whole organization coming together like that.
See, I could see it in your eyes. I knew what was coming.
We think alike, you know. You got the 8.
We'll go here in the center to Cole. Cole, you still have a question? Raise your hand.
Cole Kusaman with Arizona Republic. Toney, tonight marked 5 straight weeks Riley's finished inside the top 4. What have you seen from him over these past couple months as a person and competitor, and sort of how he's kind of progressed?
Kind of the same lines as Cole, just a step or two behind that. But when I talked to Riley after the Vegas race, I said that's the hardest one. The first one's always the hardest, and after that, it becomes easier because you've done it. You know the steps you took to get yourself there. And Riley's finish to the season has been remarkable. And I told him, he came to Victory Lane to congratulate his teammate, and I said, remember that conversation we had? I said, you will carry momentum now, and he's carried it all the way to the end of the season. And I told him, I said, you don't even realize how much that momentum is going to carry through the offseason to next year. So for Cole to win the championship, for Riley to have the run that he's had at the end of the season, I couldn't be more proud of our Xfinity program and the direction and how well these 2 drivers are doing driving our race cars. So I'm excited to have them back.
I'll take one more. Lee, do you still have a question? We'll wrap it up here in the front with Lee. You can just ask it, Lee.
Thank you, dear. There's been a changing of the guard. You know, we're looking at a championship 4 group. Larson's the oldest guy. I mean, you know, you were looking at him when he was coming up on tour, but it's just like we've lost your generation. You know, Harvick's the last one out of that group to go out the door. How do you assess this generation, and how do you keep this generation from being what we saw last night? I mean, do they need to have like pep talks from the senior guys, from owners, telling them, if I looked at your highlight reel right now, I'd tell you to, find another day job. I mean, how forceful do you guys have to be? Does ownership have to be? Because ultimately you're the guys that do the hiring.
Good news, I feel like it's self-policing from our side as owners, because I'm not hiring any of those guys that were pulling those antics last night. I don't want those guys driving our race cars, because if they're going to crash somebody else, people get tired of that after a while. And when they get tired of it, then they start tearing up your race cars. And we're not the ones that are driving it and putting everybody in those scenarios. That driver is. So we're going to put drivers in that we feel like have their act together and their composure and know how to do it the right way. And when you see those guys, then those guys get snatched up pretty quick by owners, because we're all paying attention to what's going on in the Truck Series. But as much as they can make a name for themselves in a positive way, they also have the same ability to make a name for themselves in a negative way and make it to where we're not interested in looking at them anymore. So it gives you more time to focus on the other drivers that you think have potential.
Toney, congratulations. Thanks for the extra time here, and enjoy the offseason. Good luck next week.
Appreciate it.
your clothes?
Should be right in front of my locker, above on my bag or in my clothes. Okay, we are now joined by the 2023 NASCAR Xfinity Series champion, Cole Custer. We'll get right to media questions. If you have one, please raise your hand. We'll start over here with Jonathan.
Jonathan Field, the race experts. I see you got the Bud there, Cole. Like it?
Yeah, Bud Heavy Diesel. Yeah.
Nice. Well, especially needed just after that restart. Kind of walk us through just how it was.
Man, I mean, the caution came out there with like 5 to go, and I was, you just try and keep your calm because there's nothing you can do about it, but it was just, man, like we had them covered right there, I felt like. And, like every single restart, it's a toss-up. Like this place, it's always a toss-up, top or bottom. And I went with my gut on the top because the resin started working in. But, it just didn't work out. The 7 was able to get to our outside. I tried to block them. But from there, I was kind of in a tough spot being in the middle. So I just tried to make sure I got a good exit and downshifted it and tried to make it off turn 2. And we were able to get a good run and just make it happen there. I mean, I don't think it would happen ever again, but it was just unbelievable restart that worked out right. And if we didn't have the car we had either, it wouldn't have worked out. We had such a fast car. I mean, historically, this has just been Gibbs' racetrack, and those guys put up a great fight, John Hunter and all those guys, but it's a very proud moment for our team to come here, and it hasn't been our strongest racetrack, and we put it to them.
I know Toney was blown away when he came in here and was talking about it. Did you guys talk afterward?
Yeah, I mean, to have Toney as a boss, it's pretty unreal, just having a guy that has been there and done that and everything. And, before the race, probably 30 minutes before the race, I mean, we just sat in the hauler and talked about, his dirt racing stuff and his drag racing stuff. And, it's just cool to be able to talk to a guy just, that is in so much of everything in motorsports and it has been there and done that and everything you can ask questions about. And just to have him be able to get advice from him is just huge. So it was definitely a proud moment.
Come up here to Bob.
Bob Parkhurst, Fox Sports. Have you heard from Keselowski at all? Like, are you allowed to celebrate, or do you have to kind of tone it down until you get official word that you're in the clear for tomorrow? Or are you telling him to find somebody else for tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't know yet. So they're trying to find my phone because apparently he's tried to contact me, I guess. So I don't know yet. We're gonna find out here soon, but I'm fine right now. So I think we'll find out here in a minute, and we'll find out for tomorrow. But we'll enjoy it a little bit. But if it needs to be, we'll be there tomorrow, ready to work.
Come up here, David.
And hopefully he has I think he's had the kid from what I've heard. I don't know, but it's cool that he has a kid and everything's good there.
Hey, David Brandt from AP. Toney talked a little bit about how proud he was of the way that you handled kind of the demotion this year and everything. But this has to be validating for you. It obviously that can't be fun to go through that, but to do what you've done this year, what's it mean to you?
Yeah, it means the world. I mean, you get kind of knocked down a little bit. Things when you go to the cup level. I mean, it's so competitive, and things just not go right for a few years, like the cars, it's just how it is, how tight it is, I mean, you work with a great group of guys up there, but just how it all works out, sometimes it just doesn't work, so to come down here and still have people believe in you, work with JT and really grind it out. And we really didn't start out the year very good. I mean, we came here the first race and we sucked. I mean, we ran horrible, and to come back here and really just bring a bullet and everything that we've learned throughout the year and communicated. I probably asked JT 10,000 questions this year, and he's truly looked into every single one. I've never had somebody who I'm a pain to work with. I'll admit it. I'm a pain to work with. And I asked a lot of questions and overthink a lot of things. And he looks into every single one because I think we both care so much about what we do and being able to bring a fast car to the racetrack. And I just can't thank him enough for believing in me. Yeah, I mean, I think being able to work with a group, we were a pretty young group. JT's been around for a long time, but obviously a rookie crew chief this year, and our engineers are younger guys. And but being a part of a new group and being able to build that throughout the year, that's one of the most proud things I've been a part of. Because I feel like they leaned on me, to be a leader. So I feel like it's a very proud moment to be able to build what we built this year and go from a team that was solid at the start of the year, but build it into a championship team now.
Going back to Davey.
Davey Siegel with Sirius XM to your left and back, Cole. Those two restarts that were at the end when the caution came out, understandably, you were a bit frustrated over the radio. Were you kind of expecting those cautions to come out? And if so, how were you able to refocus and kind of just tackle the task at hand there?
It's tough. I mean, you just can't control it. The caution came out with 5 to go or something, and it was just, you're frustrated, because it's like, man, we had them covered there. But it is what it is. Like, we've done this long enough where you got to keep your cool and you got to take a deep breath, and it is what it is. So you got to make it happen that next one. And, it about didn't happen. It about all went south, but we were able to keep our calm still after that and make it happen on the last lap. So it was a pretty proud moment for all of us.
Tonight was much different than last night, obviously. What would you attribute that to?
Honestly, I'll say the championship 4 in this deal raced so well. John Hunter, Justin Allgaier, Sam Mayer, everybody raced so well. We just didn't. We raced hard, but we didn't hit each other. That's what people should really look at. We were able to make moves and race our tails off and still not wreck each other. So it's just a hats off to everybody, and I think everybody in that championship 4 deserves to be a champion. Justin Allgaier is just a huge, unbelievable race car driver and deserves to be a champion. And John Hunter also, what they've done this year is unbelievable. And Sam Mayer, how much he's growing. So it's awesome to be a part of that championship 4, and very proud to be part of it.
Okay, we'll go to Deb next.
Deb Williams, Auto Week. Cole, you were talking about JT and asking him all the questions, but he's been there from day one and watched you grow up. Did that give you more of a comfort level, or how did you feel about that?
Yeah, I've known JT since I was 5 years old. He his first job in the top 3 series was with Jason Leffler, and in 2004 with Haas CNC Racing. So I was around there because my dad Joe, he works at the team, and he's just always been Hickory boy, and he's just the nicest guy in the world. So I think I knew I wanted to work with him this year, and because he believed in you. He's such an awesome person, and being able to, he's so smart too. He won't say it, but he's one of the smartest people out there. So being able to bounce ideas off him and have somebody who truly believes in you is a huge part of it. Yeah, I think he helped a lot with just how you want to have that relationship go, you need somebody who believes in you. But, as the race car driver, you need to be involved, but you also don't know everything that goes into it because you're not the one working on it. So you have to know your place a little bit, but at some point, you're the one holding the steering wheel, and unfortunately, you're the only person out there that can tell them what's going on. So having that relationship go right and really be able to bounce ideas off each other is very important.
We have one. Luis, do you still have a question?
Luis Torres, the podium finish. Of course, this was your first oval win since you came back. You won at Portland and Chicago. How much, knowing a lot was on the line, you wanted to win at this track, considering you have this time track adapted to you, and then obviously the overtime kind of put you in that spot where you have to deliver, which Toney was proud of you for being mature and going about it in a way that it was the polar opposite of Friday.
Yeah, I think it was kind of was frustrating this year because we were almost like the road course guys. Like we could be good on road courses, but we couldn't make it happen on the ovals. But I mean, just what these guys have done in the playoffs is just unbelievable. We've showed up at Bristol and we were top 5, could have won that race. Every single race in the playoffs we probably could have won. So to be able to really turn it around and make it happen was unbelievable, and that's just a testament to everybody at our team. I mean, I think JT, Davin Restivo, he doesn't get enough credit here, but he was my engineer in 2019, and when we won a lot of races, and he's Riley's crew chief now, and he's a huge part of what we're doing. Mike Shiplett, him and Davin came over in 19, and they're a huge part of what we've done here. Richard Boswell, Jabbo, Jeff Mendering. I mean, it's everybody who's put everything into this team is really grown us into what we are now.
Go over here.
Cooper's BlazeRadioOnline.com. This is kind of a two-part question. Going into turn 3, about halfway through the race, sun was setting over here. Sun was setting about halfway through the race. How difficult was it to see going into turn 3, and also how drastically, did the track change over the course of the night?
Yeah, I mean, it got tighter and tighter as the night went, and especially when it went to night, there was so much grip. You're just pushing it into the corner harder, so that just puts more load on the right front tire, I guess, and just made it all tighter. So we had to adjust the car, and once we adjusted the car, we were right back where we needed to be. But it was definitely, you had to keep up with the racetrack because it definitely changed a little bit through the night. And the resin came in. I mean, the resin, we haven't seen that all weekend really, but it finally came in there, and you had to really try and keep up with it.
You're right next to him.
Eric List, Blaze Radio as well. We saw you get a kind of a prolonged chance to really sit in your car when you pulled it into victory lane. What emotions were just running through your head, and what were you thinking as you just kind of got to sit with your own thoughts?
I mean, just a lot of relief, it's such a pressure situation. You're just trying to keep your cool during that whole time, and just a lot of pride in, what our team's done. It's just a great day of being able to build what we built this year and really close it off how we wanted to.
Compared to Wolfgang and Reed.
Thank you. Wolfgang Monser from Germany, Rennsport Press Agency. Technical question. I suppose from the very first race in Daytona until the last one here in Phoenix, you and your team made a lot of development for the car. Can you maybe address the areas in which the car has been improved until the very last race?
I can't tell you that. Then everybody know. Yeah. Oh, we got a race next year. But no, I mean, I think it's just a lot of little things. It's not like one thing that was like, oh man, like we just found something. It was just a lot of little things of how springs and shocks and just what we're doing, heights, things like that. So I think just little things like that, they add up, and we've really just started to put it all together because, it's so tough. Look at the Cup Series. It's the whole half a second covers the whole field. So it's just those little things matter a lot on what you're doing. It's not like somebody finds something unbelievable. It's just those little things, and then once you find them, it makes a big difference.
The new Mustang is also racing Xfinity next year?
Yep. Xfinity next year, yep. What'd you say?
The new Mustang, which was launched 2 days ago here, it's just for Cup and for Xfinity.
I think we're running the same body. I think Ford's running the same body next year for Xfinity. Yep. I think. I have to make sure on that.
I believe that's right. Yeah, the Mustang that was unveiled was just for the Cup Series.
Reed Spencer with the NASCAR Wire Service. Cole, when Toney was in here, he said that he had to look at the replay on the board like 3 or 4 times and still had not figured out how you did what you did on that restart lap. Can you basically go through what you remember of that, what you did, and how you got down to the prime real estate entering turn 3?
Yeah, well, when the 7 and the 20 both were out, I was in the middle. I was pretty much in a no-win situation. So at that point, I realized that, and I was like, I just got to make the corner here, make sure I do something decent, because if I just drive it in there, I'm going to wreck. So I knew I was in a no-win situation, so I tried to make it good on the exit. And from there, I tried to downshift it, get a good exit, and get a good run into turn 3. And from there, I had a good run in there, so I could just try and take it from the 7 car, and from there, I mean, our car was good and was able to turn and make it happen on the exit.
Lee, did you have a question? Go up here to Lee and then Cole.
Lee Spencer, CatchFence.com. Cole, congratulations, first of all. I look at what John Hunter did, and, you know, he moved up to the Cup Series, didn't work out, and he went back, and he, you know, worked his tail off. And, I mean, I see you running around the neighborhood. I see you doing the right things. And, you know, if things don't work out the first time, is there something to be said for never giving up? You know, it must have been hell for you to take a step back, but to get a championship, which was something you never had on your resume, you know, to take these steps, when you do get back to Cup, will it make the journey more rewarding?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what you learn as you get older and stuff. You just got to keep working at it, you know? I mean, when you're younger, I mean, you're just trying to figure it all out. But once you get older, it's kind of just trying to figure out those little areas where you're missing it a little bit. And I think having this year where you get knocked down a little bit and you're able to sit back and really realize what you need to do better. So I think I tried to improve all those things this year, trying to work with my team and really get what we needed in the cars. And, you know, you just got to keep working at it. And I think I don't know if I've been the guy who always has the most talent, really. I mean, I think I can drive a car, but I feel like if you just work at it enough, you can go out and if you have a good group around you, you can go out and make some stuff happen.
Cool.
Cole Kusaman with the Arizona Republic. First off, from one Cole to another, congratulations. Great night all around for SHR. I mean, Riley got another top 5 finish to close out the season. I'm just curious how much you guys have leaned on each other throughout the season as a whole, but especially this end of the playoffs and all that.
Yeah, I mean, huge. I mean, Riley's been a huge part of this. I mean, if they made the playoffs, I mean, I would have been scared. I mean, they had a lot of bad luck this year, but they made it happen in the playoffs. So it's cool to see. I mean, he's really putting it all together, and just how our teams have worked together this year too. I mean, just being able to bounce ideas off each other and really be able to get our cars better and better and better has been huge. And he's been easy to work with too. You know, always wants to talk about things, isn't arrogant, and he always wants to be better. You know, so I think it's definitely been a good relationship, and you know, they're a huge part of being able to bounce. I mean, without them, we wouldn't know half the information we have now. So we wouldn't be where we're at.
Well, Cole, I think that's all the questions we have for you tonight. Congratulations, outstanding season, outstanding race, and we're happy to have you as our 2023 NASCAR Xfinity Series champion.
Thank you, guys.